The morning Barbara locked my gate, she had no idea she was unleashing hell in the form of 17 hungry goats and a former software engineer with too much time, too much money, and a deep love for chaos. The sound of her screaming as my goats chewed through her $5,000 rose garden was, without exaggeration, the sweetest symphony I'd ever heard. My name's Ethan Graves. 2 years ago, I ditched a cushy Silicon Valley tech job for a 10-acre ranch in rural Texas. I was burned out from the deadlines, the boardroom politics, and the fake smiles. I wanted something real. So I bought a ranch Wild Haven and filled it with goats. 17 of them, to be exact. The leader of the herd? A majestic white billy goat named General Sherman. I had dreams of making artisanal cheese and living quietly off the grid. But I hadn't accounted for Pine Heights Estates and its HOA queen, Barbara Lynn Crawford. Barbara was a middle-aged tyrant who ran the HOA like a private dictatorship. Her kingdom sat next to my ranch, and while my property wasn't part of her HOA, that didn't stop her from trying to control everything I did. Our feud started with passive-aggressive letters about unsightly goat enclosures and offensive mailbox colors, but escalated when she illegally padlocked my gate and claimed I was a livestock nuisance. That gate, by the way, was the only legal vehicle access to my property protected by an old easement she either didn't understand or didn't care about. The padlock was the last straw. I climbed the fence to feed my goats and accidentally broke the gate's latch trying to remove the lock. General Sherman, always looking for adventure, seized the moment. He led his squadron of goats straight into Pine Heights and onto Barbara's pristine lawns. It was chaos, goats chomping on tulips, rose bushes, and decorative hedges. I chased them through the neighborhood, slipping on wet grass while homeowners alternated between shouting and laughing. Some residents actually clapped. One guy, Dave, whispered, "Finally, someone put her in her place." That goat parade wasn't just a Misha pit, was the spark that lit a wildfire. Barbara retaliated with threats, fake citations, and eventually, a lawsuit demanding $15,000 in damages. But I had an ace. Walt Henley, my retired lawyer neighbor who knew the property laws inside and out. He confirmed that the HOA had zero jurisdiction over my land. Still, Barbara didn't back down. Instead, she escalated. My easement records were mysteriously altered in the county system, suddenly limiting my right of access. We traced the change to someone inside the HOA with computer access and shady connections to a real estate developer, Sterling Ridge Partners, eyeing my land for a luxury resort. The HOA, it turned out, had been promised kickbacks if they helped push me out. Barbara, her lapdog Tom Whitaker, and treasurer Marlene Finch were all in on it. I had unknowingly parked my peaceful ranch right in the way of a multi-million-dollar development. So I fought back with what I knew best, tech and strategy. I installed facial recognition cameras, launched a website exposing HOA corruption, and trained my goats to respond to whistle commands. The goats became my secret weapon and a local phenomenon, especially General Sherman, who seemed to instinctively know when to block Barbara's car. Things got wild. The HOA cut off my water. I built a rain catchment system. They tried to sue again. I uncovered emails showing misuse of HOA funds for Barbara's cosmetic surgery and Tom's failed business ventures. I even caught Tom trying to tamper with my security system. Thanks to a keystroke logger I'd quietly installed, I accessed internal communications that made Watergate look like a kindergarten prank. But then they crossed a line. One morning, Sherman and 2 other goats vanished. The fence was intact, but the power to my cameras had been cut for exactly 2 hours. The police dismissed it. I didn't. I was crushed until I received an anonymous email with security footage. It showed Tom and 2 men stealing the goats and driving them to a storage unit owned by Sterling Ridge. The source? Jennifer Whitaker, Tom's wife. Disgusted by what she'd discovered, she gave me the location. With help from Walt, my vet Emma, and hardware store owner Mike, we staged a rescue. We filmed everything. Sherman was alive, pissed, and healthy. When Tom showed up and realized we had him on video, the look on his face was priceless. That footage went viral. So did the financial records Jennifer helped us leak. The public outcry was immediate. Residents demanded an audit. Marlene cracked first, turning over damning evidence in exchange for leniency. Barbara was arrested for fraud, Tom's real estate license was revoked, and the developer dropped their resort plans. The judge threw out all charges against me, upheld my easement, and awarded me damages. Now, 6 months later, Wild Haven is thriving. I built a small petting zoo and started selling cheese under the label Sherman's Justice. Emma and I are officially together, and Sherman? He's a local celebrity, complete with his own Instagram account. As for the HOA, Jennifer now runs it with empathy, not ego. The old guard's gone, the community is healing, and my goats roam freely. Sometimes all it takes to defeat corruption is a little tech, a lot of nerve, and one very determined goat.